Dax, I just wondered when you first got the idea for the Chips movie and if you've been a fan of the TV show as a youngster.
Yes, I was a fan of all shows that had anything motorized in them. So on my plate at all times were Dukes of Hazzard, Fall Guy with the pickup truck, Chips for the motorcycles, A-Team for the van, Starsky and Hutch because of the Torino. So anything with a car that was a bit of a star, I was in.
And how about the idea of making a movie?
Well, I'm always looking for an excuse to trick them into letting me do action. So it has to come in the package of a comedy, but I'm always trying to just come up with an excuse to infuse a ton of random action in it. And this seemed like a really good vehicle for that, because at the end of the day, they're two motorcycle cops, and I thought, oh, there's kind of like a cool, high adrenaline version of this to be made.
Michael, how about yourself? Were you a fan of the show as a youngster, and what was the draw of playing Ponch?
I was, but I don't remember too much. I just remember like the overall feeling that I got from it, because I think I was like post-fetal, and I mean the only thing that I remember is that there was a Latin dude on TV, and then that's all I really cared about, because I'm brown. And so I watched that. I watched it a lot, and with my family. And I think my dad is the one that really, really loved it. When I told him that I was playing Ponch, he just went back and started doing whatever he was doing, like he didn't care. I'm kidding. No. He was overjoyed.
Yeah, Estrada was gigantic. I mean, you didn't live here, I presume.
Was he big in the UK?
Yeah, but we definitely got it in the UK. Yeah,
right
and
on.
reruns. I mean, I was born around the time it was first shown, but yeah, it got.
And you guys
reruns for
probably
quite a
really
while, I
liked it
think.
because there's no guns in England, so it's like great, never pulled a gun. It's
Going back to what you were saying, Dax, about comedy and action. Why do you think the two go so well together, as they do in this movie?
Well, I think comedy is often best used when it's breaking something very stressful or dramatic. I think that's when it seems to work the best. So anytime you're kind of doing some high stakes stunts, punctuated with a joke, it just seems to land that much bigger because it's breaking that tension, So as long as you keep the threats actually real and truly life-threatening, and don't let your comedy get infused in that, then I think the jokes just land because it's such a relief because it's stressful.
And going back to the TV show, were there some key elements that you wanted to include? I know we get a few blasts of the music, which is good fun.
Yeah, well, the theme song is so iconic and wonderful that was a non-starter. Without that song, we weren't going to do it. But I think the three elements that were my favorite parts of the TV show are California, which was a big star of the show, and I'm from Detroit, Michigan, where the sun wouldn't come out for 5 months at a time. So being able to turn on that show and for an hour get sunshine, motorcycles, and bros, two partners that are kind of fighting the world together.
Forever.
I think those three elements are something that we still have.
And I love the relationship between Ponch and John and the way it kind of develops over the movie. Did you guys know each other much before, or get to hang out much before doing the movie?
No, I think we just met once before we started rehearsing, really. And then, a couple days, I think, to do like this sizzle reel.
We had an awkward blind date, basically, where I said, I sold this project to Warner Brothers saying you would star in it, and I really need you to star in it because you're the only person that can play Ponch in my mind.
And my friend Erica Christensen, he's a good guy. He did a lot of stuff. And I didn't know that it was sold already.
I had to ask a mutual friend of ours to put in a kind word for me, and she delivered big time.
Yeah, like
she should have a producing credit.
I know,
she really should.
Yeah.
And there's a joke in the movie about the uniforms looking a bit like UPS drivers. And I know you're a big fan of it. You turned up on the Ellen show wearing yours, Dax.
Yes.
He always wears it, this guy. He's
yeah.
All
occasions. Christmas.
What are you doing? Then he's like, hey, buddy, come in.
Just trying on my outfit.
Yeah.
Making sure it still fits.
But were they fun to wear? And have you been getting a bit more fan mail since?
I mean, I loved all the rashes that came with it and all the itches.
It's not the highest cotton count.
Yeah, I wouldn't go I wouldn't play basketball.
I bet it's about 20% cotton and 80% polymers.
No, 80% like scratch wool.
Yeah. But I gotta say, I didn't really buy into this idea that women love guys in uniform. But as I was on set quite often in this thing, I started noticing it really does give rhythm to women.
Apparently,
they dig it.
Yeah, FedEx guys get laid a lot, apparently.
Yeah, little did we know.
And how about riding the motorbikes for the movie? How did you kind of each take to that? And did you get involved in any of the stunt work?
Crushed. Shut the
He's gonna win a stunty this year. Yeah.
Dude, I sucked. I'm not gonna lie. I sucked. Well, because what I learned is I learned on a little bike, like, it was really small. I was like, oh, I own this shit. You know what I mean? Thinking I was badass. And then when they put me on the stallion of like real, like you give it a lot of respect because you just think, I got a kid and I'm like, I could die with this thing. So, and this guy didn't give a rat's ass.
Yeah, I don't care if I die or not. But to give some context to that, he had never ridden a motorcycle. And about 4 weeks before we started shooting, I said, you'll be in a lot more of the movie if you can pull up and take off and we can shoot you riding. And he went and learned while also rehearsing to shoot the movie. So I think he did incredibly well for the very short period. I've been riding since I was 12 years old. So I specifically made the movie so I could ride and show off and try to impress my wife. Which didn't work, but yeah, I got to do a lot of stunts, which was really cool. They don't normally let you do that stuff, but we also had the most incredible stunt team with some of the best riders in the world doing the more impressive stuff.
And have you caught the motorcycle bug now, or you kind of happy to leave it?
I mean, I do have a motorcycle, but it's not like a Ducati Motortard. I mean, that thing's a beast. What?
Hypermotard.
Motortard.
Yeah, Motortard. I like that. Maybe they just switch the name. A little more catchy.
No, I'm gonna call it a Hypermotard.
Yeah.
And the car chases are really good, and the bike chases. How do you go about making those kind of interesting and fun? Because we've all seen so many, but I really enjoyed them in this movie.
Well, my specific idea was we had a very modest budget for this. We didn't have Fast and Furious money, so we weren't going to jump a skyscraper in a car. So I thought, we should probably bolster these with a lot of comedy. So I was very, calculated in that you see a couple of stunts followed by a pretty good joke, followed by some more stunts and jokes. So it gets into this rhythm of stunt joke.
Stunt joke, stunt.
Sometimes, sometimes iambic pentameter with it. Stunt, joke, fun.
And Michael, we're looking forward to Ant-Man and the Wasp at some point next year. I'm sure you're looking forward to it as well.
Talk about budget. Talk about big budgets.
I mean, I think we've got $25 million for this one.
What direction do you want to see your character in that movie, Louise, go in?
Well, no, I thought that it would be cool, and you talk to Kevin Feige, who is the president of Marvel, and you give him your ideas. He's like, "Oh my God, it's interesting." Nothing happens. I thought that it would be cool if Louise was constantly bugging, Scott for a suit. You know what I mean? The entire time, and if he trips and falls, he falls like this. Sorry. Gets up. Just he wants a mentor too. If somebody actually really cared about him. And wanted his.
I'd love to see you in a suit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and then maybe at the end, how they reveal the Wasp suit? They reveal my suit, which has no powers, but it looks just like his. I'm like, maybe something like that would be funny.
Or something like the Chips costume with a badge, maybe.
Oh yeah,
Crossover.
maybe. Oh yeah, bring it back. Bring it back so it's the
Mashup.
Chips. And I was like, yeah, you're gonna go on their cover.
Chips Ant-Man.
As Eric Estrada? Dope.
And Dax, would you like to try your hand at getting involved in a comic book movie, either one of the franchises is already going, or a character we haven't seen yet on screen?
I'm not opposed to anything. I think that people really have voted. They like branded content. I'm fine with that. I'm not going to try to reinvent
The vote. We
the
counted
system.
the votes
So
too.
as long as I could do something still original within the umbrella of a known property, I would love to. It's just a matter of how, like Warner Brothers was super kind to us and let us go way off the rails with Chips. And if there were either DC or Marvel that were willing to, which they did with Deadpool was obviously such an original, interesting thing under that comic book umbrella, I would love to do something like that.
Dax, Michael, thanks very much. Congratulations on Chips.
Thank
you. Appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey, you